name is Terry Thomas, and today I would like to tell you a little bit about my personal faith journey with the Lord. Like the story of Scrooge, we'll visit my past, present, and future throughout this journey. My hope is that by hearing my story, you will in turn be encouraged in your own journey. My faith journey began when I was about 8 years old. At that time, I was attending church regularly, and I decided to ask Jesus into my heart. I truly believed that he had died on the cross for me, and I loved him for it. But the problem was, I don't think I really understood what it meant to be a true follower of Christ. As I entered my teenage years, I became very rebellious. I basically stopped going to church, I started dressing provocatively, and I became very active in the party lifestyle. This continued on throughout my teenage years and even after I was married and had my first child at the age of 19. As you can imagine, the marriage didn't last very long, and by 21 we both wanted a divorce. So at that point, I decided to move to Dallas with my new boyfriend and my son, and the partying continued. If asked, I would tell people that I was a Christian, I just didn't want to live like one right now. That I wanted to have my fun, and then later, when I was older, I would live the way God wanted me to. But little did I know, God had other plans for me. Later that same year, I went to see the movie The Passion of the Christ, directed by Mel Gibson. I can remember leaving the theater that night with a sense of just utter guilt. I can remember asking myself, what are you doing? How could you live this way after everything that Jesus had done for me? And so it was that point that I decided I was going to rededicate my life to him and change the way that I was living. After much prayer, my boyfriend and I decided that we should move back home, and we eventually got married. Once I got back home, I wanted to seek the Lord with all my heart. I got into his word. I started going back to my home church and was just seeking different ways that I could serve him. And so eventually I was offered the opportunity to teach Vacation Bible School. So over the course of the next 10 years, I taught VBS every summer. I had 2 more beautiful children, and I also was elected the assistant youth director. About 2 years ago, I started working for the elementary school and became a teacher's assistant for grades 1 through 3. While there, I started pondering the idea of going back to school myself. In the beginning stages, it was more about the side of financial gain, but as I prayed and sought God's will, he eventually showed me that he didn't just want me to teach the children that were coming through my church. He wanted me to teach all the children that were coming through our school district every year. I was meant to be his example to the children that I encountered on a daily basis, not just on Sundays and Wednesdays. And so it was at that point that I knew I was meant to earn my degree in education. Well, at the age of 32, I finally started college. And now, as I draw close to the end of my first year in college, I will admit that it has been very challenging and very scary at times also. But as I look to the future, I know that I don't have to be afraid anymore because God is going to be with me every step of the way. I know this because this isn't just something that I want to accomplish. This is his plan for me. And I'm basically just going to do everything that I can to follow him. And so I will close with, I'm going to do as Paul has directed us in Philippians 3:14, and I will press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me. Thank you.